So the first thing that was the most important thing in the month of February that happened was hey there, Notary buddies. I am LaDarrell Worf with the Notary Know-How Georgia, and I am here to take you guys on an update journey of what happened in my notary business for the month of February 2023 in the state of Georgia. February, just like January, was a completely different beast and a whirlwind of new experiences and all kinds of things, including family and also business. So the first thing that was the most important thing in the month of February that happened was your boy turned 33. So yes, it was my birthday on Groundhog's Day, February 2nd, and I just kept it cool. My husband and I, we just did a really quiet lunch. Because I think I did an appointment beforehand, if I'm not mistaken, and then we met up at one of our favorite little restaurants. It's newly opened. It's called the Bougie Southerner, and the food is so good. So we really enjoyed that. So that's what I did. So what happened next? It was the next day. February 3rd was a first for me. On this day, I received my first phone call from a direct client. This was an attorney's office out of state. Still direct. I was excited about it. And they had a client that was selling property, again, out of state, but they lived here in Georgia. And so I was super excited. You know how I got that phone call? They were looking for notaries in the area. My ad came up first, and there was a few other notaries, and then they saw my normal Google listing, and they went to my website and all this kind of stuff. I spent time building my stuff out. So they liked what they saw. They gave me a call. I gave them a price quote, and it was a seal deal. We got it done. And I will say that one was $150. Okay, what was after that? So I decided to start taking this business a little bit more seriously, and I got out of my comfort zone. I started doing the things that I did in my prior businesses, things that I've been trained on, how to grow a business and how to network. So that's what I did. I went out and I started networking. And when I tell you guys, I met so many people out there that opened my mind up to people that could utilize my mobile notary services. So first of all, let's see, I attended a few networking events where I met real estate agents, I met brokers, I met attorneys, I met insurance agents. I physically went to put myself in rooms where this was, let's say, call it higher level business individuals. I was an only notary in every single room and every single networking event I went to. I was the only notary. And all of that networking led to me receiving an invitation to a ribbon cutting event here in downtown Lawrenceville. This organization, they specialize in providing the basic needs, the basic necessities that these foster kids need when they're being homed with their foster parents. And so it's an amazing thing. I got to participate in the community. I got to attend this event. I had just barely learned that when families adopt kids, when they go through the adoption process, 99% of them, they tend to stick with the exact same notary throughout the entire process. And this process can take some time. And so I'm hoping that there's business that's going to be fostered, play on words right there. But anyway, I hope that there's going to be business that fosters from this event. So I need to just stay on top of it. I need to follow up. I need to stay engaged. And the way I'm doing that, or the way I'm planning on doing that, is just engaging with their Facebook page. Right? And, just letting people know they are a resource and that kind of things. Bringing stuff from my home that's a little bit, extra things, baby stuff, all that kind of stuff over to their facility. And even buying new stuff and taking it over to the facility so they can gift it to parents. So that's just amazing. So I got to build a ton of connections throughout the month of February. And I liked it because it reminded me that I'm a connector. I like connecting people. I like saying, hey, I know a guy, or hey, I know a person, or I know a lady, or I know a business, right? I love saying those phrases when people bring stuff to me. And you'd be surprised how many questions we get as mobile notaries if we know X. And I was like, you know what? I'm starting to build my connections here in Georgia, and I do. So let's keep going. What else happened? We had family and friends that come and visit us, and also we moved. I know this is supposed to be about business and notary stuff, but this is part of my journey, and it was a nightmare, you guys. It was a total nightmare. In the middle of moving, not only was I busy in the middle of trying to pack and move our house and all this kind of stuff, as I mentioned, I was running Google ads. My marketing guy was running Google ads for me, right? And I was busy with a ton of clients, and also because I had my home address on the my Google business profile, I had people that are just like calling me and saying, hey, I'm outside, or hey, I'm down the street, I'm on the way. And so I did a lot more notarizations at my home than I have ever done. And so imagine trying to like pack up your house and like move stuff, and people are constantly showing up, right? And so it was a lot, but I enjoyed it. So that's the only reason I mention it, because moving threw a wrench in my business, and I had to either decide to take a day and pack all my stuff and not run the business, or vice versa, take 3, 4, 5 days, run the business and not pack. And we were coming up against deadlines and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a crazy whirlwind of a time. But hey, at this point, we're only like midway through the month. It's like February 15th, and all of this has already happened. What else? I got more direct calls from another attorney. I got direct calls from insurance agents. Again, because they're finding me on Google. They're seeing me, my Google ads popping up every time they look for a notary. Another big thing, another huge win that happened for me, I got my first order through signing order. So at this point, I've only been getting a few things through SnapDocs, which is fine, right? But then I know, because like signing order and SnapDocs, they're the biggest two out there. And so I got my first order on signing order. And you know what? I did not include those this month to talk about, apart from just mentioning it, just because you guys know, if you don't know, now you will know that we get paid for those later. You know, it's probably 30, 60, 90 days out there where I'm going to receive payment for that. So I'm not going to include it into my February stuff that I'm talking about today. I just wanted to let you guys know that was a win for me. And you know why it was a win? Because my marketing guy, he told me that, hey, you know, we're going to be running ads. We're going to be, you know, driving traffic to you. You need to have a better presence, right? That was a conversation. Either, you know, he was talking to me about that, and also other trainings I was going through telling me that I needed to have a better presence for social proof. And so this, like him running ads, prompted me to start getting things done that I needed to get done anyway. So I started building out my Google business profile even more. I started posting more stuff on there. I started requesting for reviews a lot more than I had in the past, right? Also, I started making sure that my Facebook business page has something on there, because I created it and there was not much going on. So I did that. And also I started making sure that my LinkedIn page was also, you know, relevant, because again, when attorneys are calling me and insurance agents are calling me for notarizations, I wanted to make sure that, you know, they look on those kind of places for social presence or social validation. So I wanted to make sure I had that. And so that's what I started doing as well. So February, I started working on a lot more marketing, or free marketing, if you will, just only costing me time for my business, in addition to having him run those Google ads. And with a combination of those two things, I felt like I was winning. I was dog tired, I'm not gonna lie, but I felt like I was winning. I felt like I was making progress in my business. Other things that I did, I updated my Facebook profile image. I'll put that on the screen so you guys can see that. Just part of the marketing, right? Just part of the branding. And also I updated my signing services profile. So my signing order, my SnapDocs, I'll make sure I leave a link to what that looks like in the description for you guys, so you can copy it. Copy things that I give out. No gatekeeping, right? I just want to share what I've been doing on this journey, and hopefully it helps you guys as well. A few more things, and then we'll get into the numbers on how this month turned out. So I told you guys how I was networking. That was not only limited to outside of notarizations. I want to share this with you guys. When we are getting these requests through SnapDocs and signing orders to be witnesses for attorneys, because we live in a state of Georgia, right? So we do get these witness requests for attorneys. Guess what? They are local attorneys. One of the attorneys that I acted as a witness for, I was networking with him and talking to him about what I do as a mobile notary, because even though they're attorneys, not all of them know about mobile notaries, right? And so I was letting him know what I did. I gave him a few of my cards, and he referred me, you guys, and I got a job from it. I got a notarization out of it, where he referred me to one of his clients that needed mobile notarizations of some of their documents in their will, like their estate plan, I should say. So we did a will, and also we did financial power of attorney. So that was amazing. I got a referral from him on that. I severely underpriced that job, but I was just so excited to have a referral. What was next? Something that I learned, and I will put this on the screen as well. I learned about, let me make sure I read it so I don't get it wrong, a medallion signature guarantee stamp. So let me tell you guys exactly, this is something that we cannot do as notaries. We cannot do this. We don't own this stamp. We cannot buy this stamp. We can't offer the service. So let me tell you guys how I came across this. I had a client who called me, Google ad, thank you. I will stop. But yeah, it came from Google ad. I had a client that called me and she was like, hey, I need a seal on my documents. And I was like, okay. So I was asking her questions and I was like, hey, so I have my notary stamp and I have a crimper that'll make an indentation on the document. She's like, yeah, I think that's what I need. Luckily, she wasn't too far because I was marketing in my local area. So she wasn't far at all. So I ran over there. I got the documents. And as I was reading through it, I was like, hey, do you mind if we call the person that, needs these documents back? And so she did, and she called, I believe it was an insurance company or something like that, and that she gave them permission to speak to me, and I got clarification on what they needed. And I was like, hey, and I looked it up really quick on Google, and I was like, you know what? I don't think this is something that I can provide, but just quick Google search, says that this is something that you can get from your bank, right? And so this was on her lunch break, you guys. And so we're trying to get all this figured out on her lunch break before her next client came in. And so I said, hey, can you give your bank a call and see if this is something they can do for you? And I got the official name. It's like they're looking for a medallion signature guarantee stamp. And so her bank said, yes, we can do this, but you have to make an appointment, and we can't, the next appointment we have is going to be next week sometime. She needed this done by the next day. Like, she needed to get it done today, tomorrow at the latest, and send it off. And she was trying to get it all done on her lunch break. And so she was like, well, you know what, the appointment next week is not going to work for me. And so I just felt bad, you guys. I couldn't help her. I probably overstepped my bounds. But I say, you know what, let me give my bank a call and see if there's something they can do. So I called my bank, and, I was just trying to check and see if there was something they can assist with. And you know what? Because I go into the bank every week, every other week, to deposit money or also cash a check to put into my mobile notary account. First of all, being a mobile notary is not something that they see a lot, right? Even though the bank has notaries, they're like, you're a mobile notary? And so, yeah, I chatted with the ladies at the counter, or the guy, whoever's at the counter. I'm always going in there because can I put my money in the ATM outside? Yes, and not have to go in. Absolutely, I can do that. Can I just take a picture and cash my checks, like deposit my checks in my account that way? Absolutely. But this is something I learned with my other prior business. Every time I need to go to the bank, if it's not crazy, I make sure I go in around non-busy hours just so the team can see my face, so they can hear my voice and they can see me putting money into my account, right? Because it's building a relationship with them individually. So I called, and long story short, I told them exactly what we needed. I said, hey, you know what? She's not a member of the bank, but I am. Can you guys review and see if there's something you can help me? If you can help us out with this, I will bring her in as a guest of mine because we are doing business together, right? She's a client of mine, and I just want to see if this is something you guys can do. They told me, let me check, and they'll give me a call back. By this time, she has a client walk through the door because, again, this is her place of work. She's working. She has a customer walk through the door. Her lunch break is over, so I just go to the side and I'm waiting for my bank to call me back. And also, I just do a quick Google search for another credit union and I make a phone call and start asking. Same thing. I had the same conversation with them. I'm not a member of that credit union. She's not a member of that credit union either. But guess what? Remember how earlier I told you guys I moved? So, quick side note. When you're a business owner, when you're self-employed and you don't have a standard W-2, it's kind of difficult to operate in the world, especially because we have really good people that take our tax liability as low as we can possibly go. So when we moved into our other house, I promise I'll loop it back around. When we moved into our other house, because at that point we've been running a business for 5.5 years, longer, but at least we had W-2. But for the last 5.5 years, we didn't have jobs. We didn't have W-2 jobs. And so, and our taxes, the taxes we paid were really low. And so when we moved into that house, we had to get approved, right? It was a rental. And they had us, long story short, we had to pay $7,500 as a deposit to move in. And so once we got all of that squared away and we moved out, we got a check back for our deposit. I needed to deposit that check into an account, but the only accounts I had locally were business accounts. My main personal account was back in Utah, and I was not about to run $7,500 through my business bank account just to pay a fee to transfer it to my Utah bank. That's the only problem with the credit unions. They're not everywhere. And so this particular credit union that I called while my potential client was seeing a customer of hers, I called them, and I said, hey, it's me. I'm the mobile notary. I came in a little bit ago. Remember, I had a check because that credit union locally here was in the same network as my Utah credit union. And so I deposited the check into their account, and then they transferred the funds, whatever they did, they deposited the funds into my account in Utah. I was like, hey, I'm the one that came in with this situation and you guys helped me out on it. I really appreciate it. I have a question. And I told them the situation. They said, you know what? Yes, we do remember you, because I was funny, you guys. I was funny. And I'm personable. They say, yes, we do remember you. So just go ahead and have her come in and we'll take care of it. That was it. When she got off the phone, I was like, hey, this is what it is. They close, like when you get off work, they're going to be open an hour longer. So run over there really quickly. Let them know, here's my card. Just let them know who you are. And we had this conversation, and they took care of her. You guys, they took care of her because I made connections, right? So, sorry, that was a long story. I told you I was going to loop it back around. So again, February is a bunch of firsts for me, you guys. February is a bunch of firsts and a lot of experiences. So anyway, if you ever have a client that says, hey, I need a medallion signature guarantee stamp, I have to look at it every time. If they ever say they need one of those, only financial institutions can do that. So their banks, their credit unions, financial brokers, they're the only ones that can hold that type of a stamp and do stuff for them. So my notary buddies, before we move into numbers, I just have to say this to you. February was a lot was going on for me in February. I am probably a lot less busy than a lot of you because you have family obligations to fulfill. You may have little kids and other like teenagers that you have to provide for. I don't in my life right now. So things may be a little bit differently when it comes to me building my business versus you building your business. But guess what? Do not get discouraged. You got this. I am just sharing with you guys what I'm doing to grow my business, and you guys can see my circumstances, right? I will stay as transparent as I humanly can without getting in trouble with you guys. So again, yours maybe look a little bit differently, but you got this. Keep going. Do not stop. So now, take a breath. Now that I got through all of that, let's go ahead and chat about the numbers. What did my business look like in February on the profit and loss side? So income, general notary work, and my directs that were for real estate purposes. The money that came in from advertising and having those type of clients call me, general notary work, and again, also direct clients, was $1,116 for the month of February. Also, I did inspections, and so I did $220 worth of inspections. Also, I did deliveries. So delivery income, this is me delivering people's groceries from Walmart. So on the Walmart Spark app, I did $225.46 from that because of people and their tips. From that, generated was $1,561.46. So $1,561.46. And now let's look at these expenses. Education, $88. I told you guys education is important to me, so it is something I will always budget for. Next, I had office supplies of $30.12. I had $80 in expenses out to witnesses. So I paid other notaries to be a witness for me, $80 worth. So that was good. I was helping other notaries grow their business as well. That was awesome. Dues and subscriptions, $300. That specifically was paying my marketing guy, because like the Google Ads guy, because he got me results in January, guys, and he got me results in February. So obviously I need to pay him for his work. His fee is $300. For me, it's $300 a month. So that's where that came from. And then on Google Ads, I spent $84.82 in the month of February. You guys are probably like, wow, that's really low. You know why it was low? Because, so how Google works is they charge you when you reach your spending threshold or at the end of the month. So what does that mean? Let's say, for example, I have a $300 spending threshold, right? And so let's say it's February 15th. And if I spend $300 in Google ads, I have to pay them because $300 is my spending threshold, right? That's it. And then I have whatever ads I run from the 16th to the end of the month, whatever that number is, that amount is, I have to pay them that again. So because a lot of my ads were front loaded for January, and also because we were moving and there was so much going on, I was like, hey, can we back off just for a moment in the month of February? We did that. And so I only had $82.82 in ad spend for February. What else am I missing? I have a bunch of other little expenses, like office, general office stuff, parking fees. I ship some things out for clients, but all together, my total expenses for February is $698.02. So if we go ahead and calculate this, the business brought in $1561.46, and expenses, I had $694.02 go out, which left me with a grand total of net income of $867.44 for the month of February. I know some of you guys out there, someone out there is going to be smart and say, hey, are you putting money aside for taxes? For me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Because I have real estate rentals, because I run another business in the real estate space as well, I will start setting money aside out of my profits from the business for taxes. I really will start doing that. But for right now, I'm not, because I have professionals in my life that help with bring my tax liability as low as possible legally. But then also when I do have a tax bill to pay, I just personally pay taxes out of my life insurance account. We're not going to get into that on here, but just know that that is something you can do. I'm not talking about it because, one, I don't sell life insurance, and two, I'm not a financial advisor or planner or anything like that. This was just information that was taught to me, and I use it because it works for my business. So I'm not worried about my tax liability or my tax bill per se, because I have money sitting in a life insurance policy that I can just borrow against and use that to pay my tax liabilities for the year. So that's it, Notary Buddies. That wraps up February. That's all the stuff that I had going on. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video, and even if it inspired one person to take the next step, that's all that matters to me. So I will see you guys in the next video, and if you want to see the craziness that unfolded in the month of March, make sure that you click on this video right here. I'll be excited to share that with you guys. 3, 2, 1. Favorite new little restaurants called this. I was 33. I was 24 hours old